How much are phones now?
1,500-1,600 bucks, man. I don't know what the new tier is.
Hey, yo, we're back for just yapping.
Huh?
How expensive are phones? We already started. This is it.
Okay. I don't know, 1,500-1,600 bucks?
We're talking about how this camera is probably better than the one we used for the TWC show.
Yeah, because
We cheaped out on cameras.
Don't tell people that.
No, it's okay. It's just yapping. We did because we wanted to make sure we were consistent.
That's
Why
true.
would we pay for expensive cameras if we only did like 4
It's like
episodes?
40 people listening to us anyway.
Yeah.
Like they're going to go back.
Why would we buy expensive? This is advice for you guys. If you're ever gonna start something, don't invest all your money in buying the expensive stuff until you realize you're gonna be consistent with it. I feel like I'm allowed to give that advice to people. Because I can even name my own cousin said he was gonna be like a car guy and film all these car vlogs and do all this stuff and made his family buy him all this expensive stuff and never did it. And then gave it to his friend for free. Which I thought was like, why would you do that to your parents?
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's some,
you know?
some good sound advice. It's true. I think some people go all in and they never do anything with it. And
You put that for everything, right? Like, if you're gonna make your kid play hockey or something, buy them the bare minimum. See if they go for like 2 months, and then then spend for the more expensive stuff. You know what I'm trying to say?
I agree.
I feel like
I don't really have anything to add to that.
because everyone drops out of things. I dropped out of like so many classes in university that my mom paid for,
That's just,
and I look back and I feel bad. Like.
that is you being dumb.
But you know what I mean? Like, I like start to fail, and then there's like a window of like when you can drop out. Like, if you drop out before this thing, it doesn't mess with your GPA or whatever. And then I'll just drop out.
Well, yeah, then you're supposed to get your money back, aren't you? Mm-hmm. A certain percentage.
A certain percentage. But it's still a waste of money, and you pay for books and all that shit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just
Good
saying.
life. Good life.
Life lesson. Don't spend the money until you know you're committed, then go all out.
But in fairness, if you do have an iPhone, these things are great.
Yeah, that was the whole point of this. This is just yapping. Shout out to 500 level. Shout out to Tapped in Sneakers.
Yeah, that's a cool shirt.
Dennis Rodman. He was teaching his daughter about Dennis Rodman today.
I don't need...
Which I don't think it's the best thing to be teaching a 7-year-old about Dennis Rodman.
Why not?
Because he was ambiguous.
It's okay, man. They gotta know the truth.
Do you know what ambiguous means?
Means a big word.
I mean, like, he's a little, he's a man in terms of like basketball player, was in WCW, but then
But I
like,
don't
he was
really
a little.
teach my kids anything conventional anyways. Like, I
That's
should
true.
be telling them about, I don't know, the history of Canada or...
Did they know who John A. McDonald is?
No clue.
Do you know who John A. McDonald is?
I think he's the Prime Minister of Canada.
The first one.
I don't
Number
know if he's-
one.
I know he's number one.
Acknowledge him.
But, they can tell you about when Jake the Snake came out with, and, Bit Macho Man, and they can probably tell you who Bam Bam Bigelow is,
No, that's true.
right? So, they know
You were
the
talking
fun
about it today, though, kind of like how you think your oldest is probably going to enjoy a little bit of 90s wrestling.
Yeah, like, she was kind of, when I wore the shirt, she was intrigued. She's like, Dad, who is that? Who did she say it was at first? Not Dennis Rodman.
I wasn't here. I don't know.
She said it was like, I don't know who she called this guy. But I had to explain to her. I'm like, no, it's Dennis Rodman.
Hey,
And then-
Kashi Organic, sponsor us. These are good.
they're from Costco.
Costco, shout out to Costco. I know we talked shit about you before. I just don't like going there. It is a great place though. They got great hot dogs. Shout out Melissa Merck. Hot dogs, Costco, but Kashi.
Who the hell's Melissa Merck?
She's like a model / influencer.
Oh my god, I thought you knew the name of a Costco employee and just giving her a shout out.
No,
Okay.
we bond over Costco hot dogs.
Okay.
She
In
had a,
Vegas?
she had a hot dog at the Canucks game, and I messaged her,
Oh, okay.
and I said, "Was it as good as the Costco hot dog?" And she said, "No." I'm like, "Where would you rank it?" She's like, "Way below." So shout out.
So
You ever watch those commercials back in the day, like those Much Music commercials? Like, I don't know, they're like made to make or something, and every like influencer had like a commercial. And back then, I'm like, I want one of those made to make commercials. Melissa had one.
Right.
I have a funny story with Melissa. She did like a shoot for my sister.
Okay.
When my sister was doing Vancity Vogue. And I have a weird connection to her and that song by George Harrison, My Sweet Lord, because it was like a nice sunny day. It was like now, like springtime, what's sunny, but a nice little breeze. And I was cruising, listening to that song in South Surrey with my windows down and my sunroof up. And my sister was with Melissa Merck, and I was like, oh, that's that girl in the Much Music commercial. She's so pretty. And I wanted to give her a Wrestling Classic shirt. And I went there, and I'm not a nervous guy, and I'm not like bad with women either. Like, I'll talk to anybody and any girl, but I saw her, and I just threw the shirt at her, and I said thanks, and I left.
You said thanks, sir?
Yeah, and I think part of it was like my sister's there, and I've never like talked to girls like that in front of my sister. I think that played a
So
big
you were
part
shy?
of it. Yeah.
Did you
Like,
turn red?
no, I didn't. I just it's like a core memory. I don't know if she remembers, but I always remember because when I hear that song, I'm like, that was so embarrassing. Like, why did I just throw my shirt at her, say thanks, and then like dip? Like I've never talked to a girl in my life. And we've talked since then. She's rocked her shirt in her vlogs back then. This was like years ago, like
So
2000.
she was on Much Music?
Yeah, like she had a commercial. Like she had one. I think like Just Rain had one. They all had like these little
Okay,
commercials. It was
yeah.
like
Those
much to
influencers,
make.
right?
Yeah, she was had one.
Well, I think
She's
I've
a
told,
pretty girl from somewhere, Langley or something. I
I
don't
can't
know. Where
remember
she's
if I've
from.
told you this, but I've met the Much Music guy as well too. Forget his name now. Boris.
Who's
Boris.
Was he like a VJ, DJ, or whatever?
No,
they call
he
him?
was the guy who used to do Video on Trial, the blonde-haired guy. Gay
If
guy.
you show me a picture of him, I'd know.
Yeah, if I showed you, but I think I mentioned to you, I was casted for Big Brother Canada.
Yeah.
The first ever one.
Oh, you did tell me this.
Yeah.
You could have won. They let that sick guy Jag win.
Well, I was a semi.
Not that they let him win. I just feel like there was some sort of diversity.
Was he
call
Canadian
there.
or American?
It's Canadian. It's Canada. No, it was American Big Brother, right?
Yeah, the American guy won. Yeah,
They
but
tried to be diversity.
I was the first.
They tried to be
ever-
diversity. You want? Yeah.
Yes, sir. I was the first ever person with a turban who actually made it that far. But I didn't care. I wasn't going to do it. Well, I didn't get selected to the finals anyways, but I told them if you pick a brown guy,
Look, can I ask you a wild question? Go on. You told me if they pick a brown guy.
like, pick me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They're like, don't pick your stereotypical brown guy. I'm like, pick me. I'll bring in new viewers. That's exactly what I said to him.
So I know we have like I was supposed to go to the premiere here in Vancouver for Late Bloomer, the Just Rain show.
Yeah. Something
Decent
I invited
show.
to, something I didn't.
Yeah.
No one invites me to anything.
Shout 5X. But a solid show. Like I told you, like for me, it's like I like an episode, then the second episode I watch is whatever. Then I like an episode, then the second episode I watch is whatever. They just dropped another 2 episodes, and there's one that you haven't watched yet. I'm gonna kind of spoil a little bit, but it's a flashback episode where they're kids, and him and his white cousin both have like patke jude or whatever. Like I know this is not gonna resonate with a lot of you, but like a turban when you're a kid, and
Flower power.
like when you see it, you'll know what we're talking about. But the whole essence of the episode was his half white, half brown cousin. His mom made him take it off after 9/11 happened when they were kids.
Okay.
Right? Were people weird to you after 9/11? Like, it's a serious question. I'm curious because you're saying like you have a turban. Like, did you ever feel because we were alive for 9/11? We were pretty much Just Rain's age. Like I was, if I
think
was,
he's only a couple years
if
younger
I
or
was like
something.
10, then you had to be like 13, 14.
Well, I know I skipped school that day. I was actually, for some reason, I decided to skip class. I just didn't go to school.
But like, did you get any backlash? Did anyone ever like
So
joke around, call you a terrorist?
In
or-
Canada, no.
Okay.
Of course. In Canada, I think we're pretty diverse and people kind of still knew the difference of, okay, the Muslims and the Sikhs and the Hindus and like they knew it wasn't us. But in the US, I did. I knew as I started crossing the border, it became a little bit more difficult. Getting them to pat my turban, doing the whole ammunition test.
Really?
Yeah, they make you do it. I have to do this, and then they do a swab on my hands to check for drugs and narcotics. But maybe it's because we're Canadian or naive. I just didn't give a shit.
My sister made a point because I was watching at her house yesterday, and after I babysat her kid, and then like everybody came home, we were just chilling.
But we were too young to be traveling to the States at that time anyways. But I did notice as we did start
What
going
did your dad wasn't a singer yet at that point, was
not at that point. I think he was 2006.
Okay.
when we started rolling
Because I just
off
was
into-
curious. I'm like, dude, like I don't obviously I never had like a turban or any of that situation, so I never dealt with any of that.
Okay.
But like my sister made a really good point too. She's like, we also grew up in an area that was more predominantly brown, so there was less of a chance that we were gonna deal with that.
Well, that's what I mean.
So like if we were like one of the few brown kids in a really white dominated school or something, maybe we would have dealt with it more.
But I don't think Canadians. I mean,
Dude, maybe some random thing somewhere in Saskatoon at a school with a bunch of white people probably dealt with it more than we did.
we didn't get that here in British Columbia.
Yeah.
Not in British Columbia, but like I used to go to Miami a lot, and I had an experience where I was not again one in the States. I had a lot of experiences, but never really got into fights or back and forth because most of the time I'd walk off. And actually, by the end of it, I ended up becoming great friends with a lot of people in the U.S. because I'd have to explain, like, our perspective on things and who we were and who I was. And then once they found out, oh, it's like a completely different group of people.
I think a lot of people did get educated because of like situations that happened back then with 6 War being confused as Taliban or terrorism, Muslims
Dude, I
or
got
whatever.
called Osama bin Laden all the time.
Yeah,
Tall,
yeah, yeah.
skinny,
No, but you know what I'm
round
trying to
turban.
say?
And you know what the worst part is?
You kind of do.
Yeah. The worst part is, me and a few buddies were talking, like, this was like years after, and most Muslims I know don't really wear turbans. I'm just saying, here locally, they don't.
They don't.
Man, the one man they show, the guy's rocking a turban. Just the one, he ruined it for all of us.
Yeah.
Right? So, again, in the States, they'd be confused, but I guess maybe I dealt with it differently. Unfortunately, a lot of people lost their lives in the States, I remember.
So that's what I
When
was
all
saying.
that
I
happened.
think because of that, what people were losing their lives and stuff, I think a lot of people got educated on the difference of like, oh, 6 are a whole different thing.
Well, now we're a little bit more mainstream, but then it's still, they didn't know. Like I came back from Mexico, I guess, got back up 2 years ago. Shit, time flies. But people were still like Habibi, Habibi, and
Yeah. I mean, everyone talks to me in every language. They
Yeah.
talk to me in Spanish. They talk to me in Farsi. They talk to me in Urdu. Like nobody knows what I am sometimes. I'm like, I look pretty Punjabi, but like
Yeah.
it passes whatever else, I guess.
But I don't know. I always tried to educate where I could. I wouldn't ever get into a fight with anyone, but I did have someone tell me, "Get the fuck out of our country, Osama." I was at a Miami Heat game.
I don't have my phone. Do you have your phone?
I do.
I sent my story. Someone DM'd me today. Funny, can you open it? Go on my Instagram. Someone DM'd me today and I thought it was funny, and you told me not to read it to you until we caught here, so I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
Because I put it on my Wrestling Classic story. I thought it was so funny that someone would DM me this and then they were following me. Like, why would you follow me but say this to me?
Let's hear this.
Okay? They said, "You should be embarrassed of yourself, dude. You're such a mark for macho." So macho man mark.
Okay.
"Grow up and get a life and act your age. P.S. Too many Indians in Canada." What?
You made it.
And then they followed me. Like, they follow me.
You made it.
And he has 1 follower and 4 posts. So he literally made this page to tell me there's too many Indians in Canada and that I
I
like
bet
Macho
you
Man
it's
too
someone
much.
we know. That looks like someone. It just sounds like one of our friends that just did that.
You, like, what?
That's a Surrey thing.
Too many Indians in Canada. There is. I guess it's true. I don't know.
Well, geographically, I guess depends where you live. Brampton's having a problem. Right? Surrey's having a problem.
Everywhere there's a problem.
Yeah, but too many Indians. Like what's the number? Like, what should the Indian count be with too many Indians?
Should there be a quota for every race? That's crazy topic.
But there's Indians that aren't even Indians.
Who owns this land? Because even the Gore that are here,
Well,
it's not their
me,
land.
Man, the amount of property tax I pay, I don't get it. You buy land and you pay property tax. So what do I own?
The government owns the land. WrestleMania, guys. I went to WrestleMania. I went to Las Vegas. Had an amazing, great time. It was a blast. I got to do, I went there. It was a really tough decision for me to go. It was the 2-year death anniversary of my dad. So it's weird for me to should I go? Is this the time to go? And to be honest with you, I kind of booked it and then realized that was the situation. And I was like, oh, fuck, should I still go? And not for any other reason than it's still kind of fresh for me, but also leaving my mom behind and stuff. But I want to just say everything that I wanted to get accomplished there, I did. So I can't complain. And it's a big shout out to Mustafa Ali, Carmella, Leah, Zelina Vega, obviously WWE for letting me do the junking and whatnot. There's obviously stuff I didn't get and more stuff I want to, but for the most part, what I want to accomplish there, I did. And it's weird. It was the first trip where I went there and it did feel like work, but I don't know, I kept having to remind myself anytime I started to complain that everything that I was complaining about was stuff that I wanted 5 years ago.
Well, we talked about this.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everything that's happening now is stuff that you would have only dreamt of
Yeah.
happening. Getting to go to WrestleMania. There's people, I've never been to WrestleMania yet. It's on my bucket list. And next year, hopefully, they sponsor me and I'll get to go, right? But, there's people that still will talk about, man, I wish I can go to Mania. I wish I can do this. You casually, being, casual conversations, I guess that's why you call it that, are meeting all these wrestlers, have a relationship with, all these celebrities, all people in different industries.
And I got immune to it.
Yeah, so sometimes we take shit for granted,
and I really
until
had
someone reminds you.
Yeah, and I had to sit back and remember the fact that I walk around WrestleCon and people get excited to see me and all. It's I realize that I'm very fortunate. I'm very lucky. I built something very cool, and I forget about this sometimes. And there were some moments that weekend where I wasn't very high on myself because things didn't go as planned, or people told me I was good, and I was not good. Um, and I was like, "What the f" and stuff. And it was a little bit of a blow to my ego, but I don't know. Just overall, I look back at it now, I'm like, it's cool, and it's like, yeah, I kind of do miss just being a fan and enjoying the wrestling and just enjoying the weekend and having fun out there. And there was one night we had a lot of fun, and I'll tell you that story before we wrap things up. But I just overall, I just want to say, like, I'm grateful for everything, and I'm very, like, there's a lot of gratitude towards everyone that showed me love and came up to me and told me how cool what I'm doing is. And whether you're in the industry or outside the industry, like, there was one night we got really drunk, and I'll tell that story in a second. And I remember two things happened. At one point, I went to Carmelo and Kalani, and I asked for a picture because I was hammered. I don't usually, my judgment goes away when I'm not. That's why I don't drink that much anymore, because my judgment of, like, making decisions goes away.
Buddy, you don't
sometimes.
drink Crown and shit?
Nah, man. And I'll tell you. No, you know what? Let's just tell the story, because we're going to wrap this up in like 5 minutes. WrestleMania Night 2 ended, okay? And me and Noelle were chilling in the media box. Noelle Foley, she's like my media box buddy every year because she can't be around the loud noises too much due to like past concussions and stuff like that. So she always hangs out with us in the media box.
And Noelle, for people that don't know, that's Mick Foley's daughter.
Yeah, she's not technically
Valentine's,
media,
yeah.
but we've known each other since like 2018. And I think last year specifically, Frank was like, yo, can she hang out with you? And then this year, she hung out with me and Alex, Queen of the Ring. Shout out to her too. She was like my person I called every day to do catch up and see what the plan was. Obviously, shout out to Dan Marcian, Jamari, that helped me with so much stuff over the weekend in terms of filming the Zelina Vega interview and the Leah interview, and Leo
Because
distracted
at the
from
right
wrestling.
time, just before she won her US,
US title, yeah,
was
yeah,
cool.
yeah. And and honestly, like I was editing the video and I could like see how like it moved and it wasn't like centered because we didn't have a proper tripod, and my buddy was like holding it on his hand, and instead of like most people would probably get really annoyed and mad about that, I just thought it was like funny because like dude, like this guy was like sitting there with the little small tripod on his hand holding it. Like I can't even blame him.
Why didn't
And
you
like
place the tripod on the ground?
because we needed it higher up. There's so many other things I could have done,
Why
but I
didn't you take
didn't
one
do
of the
I
tripods?
didn't
I
do it.
thought
in
you
the-
were going to take one of these.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't come here
Oh,
before, right?
We got it done. Who
But
cares?
listen, it's on there. It's good. You can watch it. It's not the best production, but that's the best thing about my stuff. Sometimes I'm like, it's so like, there's a story behind it. How everything's so funny and stupid. When everything's so perfect, it's I don't know. I feel like it lacks the story. That's how you still know that I'm like this underdog, winging it, out here doing it, no matter how big you think I am compared to like just having a perfect production every time. You just know something. Like I should probably be there by now, but I think it's more funny when it's a little bit like
Underdog wearing Costco socks.
yeah, no, shout out Costco. But anyways, me and Noel were chilling there, and I didn't get the press conference after the show, so I was just chilling. I was like, let's wait till traffic dies down. And I do not like walking through the big crowd, leaving the arena and walking in and out. Like I get like social anxiety about that, and so does she. So we were just chilling, and like I went to go steal like a couple of water bottles and Dr. Pepper from the fridge.
Brown thing to do.
And she was
Right?
stealing shit too, so
Okay.
I think that's just a thing to do.
You didn't give us a
when
bad
it was
rep out
free.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
A lot of Indians there?
the security.
WrestleMania?
No, you know what? Those two Indian guys, shout out to Gavir and Sandhu. They used to work for TNT Sports, and I hang out with them a lot. We're the only three brown guys in the media.
Cool.
And I told them, I'm like, it's cool because one time I came in, it was just me, and now the last few times I saw you guys, and like, we gotta rep it for each other. We gotta help each other out. So support them. I would love to tell you what their stuff is, but Sandhu on Instagram and Gavir Brock, but like, they have their own platform. They do interviews and stuff too. I'll share that.
Sandhu's on the MMA guy?
He used to do MMA, so
Yeah.
it's Sandhu MMA, but he secured the name just Sandhu now, which I'm like, that's so cool that you just secured Sandhu. Like,
Did
you
you
know
get
how many
Just Dylan?
Sandhus out there, huh?
Just Dylan?
No, I always have Justin Dillon. I had it for a long time ago.
Or you're Justin. I was like, well, yeah, I guess you don't need just Dylan.
Yeah, he has just Sandhu though, which
Okay.
is cool. Like, that's a big flex.
Yes.
Hopefully someone named Sandhu gets really famous and wants to buy it off him one day. But yeah, they're dope. Anyways, long story short, there was this other room. The security guard's like, "Oh, there's some stuff in here if you guys want." Oh, then he like winked at me. He's like, "But only if you've been in there before." I'm like, "I haven't been in there before," but
Who
he
said this
winked
here?
at me. The security guard, like the guy that's working there, and I walked in there and they had seltzers. So I went and stole a seltzer. Because I'm like, hey, this is night 2. The weekend's over.
You're just exposing yourself to WWE right
That's
now.
okay. No one, the 40 people that watch this are gonna find out, okay? And
gonna
then
be the
Noel
archives.
said, steal me one. Then I stole 2, and Noel stole 2. And we started getting lit.
How much did they cost if you wanted to buy one?
I don't know, probably like $4 or something. I don't know. And then next thing, but it's Vegas, probably like $70.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, the night just got crazy. I blame Noelle because she's the one that encouraged that we kept drinking. Then went to the gas station with my buddy Adam was driving and Malcolm was in the car, and I was like, I don't know, Noelle. That beer and wine thing, that ice cold beer and wine thing is really drawing to me now since we already had these seltzers. Should we just go inside and get some? Then we went inside and we shotgunned us a seltzer in the parking lot. And then the night just got wild. And
Sounds like scenes from Superbad.
yeah, it was my most Vegas night. Then we went to WrestleMania after party. Oh, talk about the hangover. We went to the WrestleMania after party. At this point, we had Dan Marston with me at this point, giving everyone a Marston moment. Shaq was with us. He's another media person. Frank the Clown was finally with us. Alex was still with us. Queen of the Ring, shout out to her. At some point, we all ended up at this after party. Where they were doing these WrestleMania after parties every night, and this one was a Gronk one, and Damian Priest and Tiffany were supposed to be there, but all the NXT wrestlers and stuff were there. Long story short, I don't know what happened. I ended up with all the wrestlers in their booth, and we were partying and taking shots, and all the booze was free. But I lost Daniel. I didn't hear from him until the next day, till 11. Literally a hangover situation. There's always gonna be a part of me that feels a little bit responsible for him, so I was like concerned the next morning because at like 4 a.m. after the lights turned on, I just decided to leave because I looked at the phone. I'm like, damn, it's 4 a.m., right? And as I'm leaving, I passed by the hotel bar again, and a bunch of wrestlers were still sitting there, like Jimmy Uso, EJ Naduka, Jacob Fatu, LA Knight. And I went up there to go say peace to EJ and them because I know them.
How shitter were you?
I was so drunk because at one point some guy started getting mad at me. Like I think I hit his foot or something. He's like, "Watch where you're going. Why are you being a mark trying to get a picture?" The biggest problem was I wore a Sting shirt, and I wore a Sting shirt because I met Sting earlier that day, and I didn't bring a shirt to change it.
Was the guy a wrestler?
I don't know who he was. He might have worked for the company. I don't know. But then once he saw me go there and talk to everybody and like say bye to them, they were all like dapping me up and stuff. And I walked back in the next time around. He's like, "Oh, you're good, man. Go ahead." Like, I was like, yo, but the craziest part was when I was walking up, I think Jacob Fatu didn't realize it, and he was all like doing like this, like thinking, and I was like, is he trying to scare fans away? Oh. And I was like, yo, what is happening? But once I went around, he was cool too. But like, I think
and you know him, right, from before?
Yeah, well, I met him once, so he doesn't know me like that. But I think he's just like was scaring fans away because they wanted to be left. It was 4 a.m, right? Yeah. He probably I wanted people to leave them alone, and then I came around. But like those two things I regret going to do that because I could have just avoided saying bye to EJ and left and didn't have to deal with any of that. And I could have probably just didn't ask Kalani and Carmelo because Carmelo's like, I'm still a little lit right now.
But yeah, liquid courage, right?
That's all it was. That's what I don't But everyone was cool. I messaged them the next day and they're like, no, we were lit too, man. Like, don't worry about it. But
it's good to know.
That's just that was my one drunken night. We lost Daniel and found him at 11 a.m.
He was fine. He was safe.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what happened, man. I think I got escorted out of there or something.
Escorted out of there or with an escort?
Escorted out of there, man. He was like getting these free cans. We had free alcohol. We had a VIP section. We had free booze. Okay. And there was these two girls giving away cans of like this.
Oh, that's the girl you guys put on your story?
He put on the story. I put on my story, but he made a video of them being like Marston moment or something. Okay. He kept going back to them, right? And I had two of those cans in my pocket, and I had like a vodka soda. And he came to me and he's like, "Yo, do you want one?" And he was already like on his third, fourth one. I'm still on my first vodka soda because I was still trying to be like, know my limits, play within it. Like I know everything that happened that night, even though I was not like in the right mind. Where he he blacked out like.
You have to have one of those.
I know, but I was like anti, and it was his first time in Vegas. He was excited from night one. He wanted to do something.
We had a buddy we lost at a club during my stag, and he's a very well put together guy, very responsible guy. You know this guy, and we couldn't find him, and we were very concerned. We went back to our room. Now it's like 7 a.m. We're like, shit, man, we haven't seen this guy. We're like, oh well, let's just hope he pops up sometime soon, or he shows up. And we're all about to go to sleep, and he's on some girl's Snapchat on a rooftop, smoking a joint, yelling and screaming, and we're like,
it's also bad because I had no idea where we went for half the night. I took Noel, I took Frank, and I took this other gentleman that works for 2K to go into like the VIP area with the wrestlers, and I didn't know where Daniel was. I didn't know where anybody else went. I was by myself at the end. I called the Uber and I went back to my buddy's place.
He probably fell in love with the girl.
I think he fell in love with one of the can girls. The ones that come out the cans, I'm not gonna lie.
Dan, grow up, buddy.
But outside of the weekend was fun, man. WrestleMania was fun. Noel's a bad influence. Daniel that got lit in Vegas, and there's some other stories I can't share, but it was a good time. Bloodsport was fun. Got to go hang out backstage at Bloodsport. Fourth Rope was dope. If you guys haven't checked out Fourth Rope, check them out. It was a great show. It was really late. Went on till like 4 a.m., but it was a great show. If you guys can go check it out, go check them out. Shout out Flash Garments. WrestleCon is always a blast. Got to see everybody, hang out with everybody. It's always fun meeting up with everybody. And interviews are coming with Carmella, Kelly, Mustafa Ali. List goes on, guys. So
You're working out there.
I was working. And I'm looking forward to next year in New Orleans. I think I'll enjoy New Orleans more than Vegas. I'm going back to my word that I don't want to go to Vegas anytime soon. Fuck Vegas.
Vegas is.
But shout out to Nick. I gotta say, before we wrap this up, shout out to Nick. He let me crash with his pad. Dope dude. Works at the Win. He's works for Sirius XM and does all that stuff. He's probably, honestly, does a lot for a lot of people than people give him credit for. So huge shout out to Nick. Check out his podcast, Veteran Minimum. It's a sports podcast, but yeah.
I just noticed I can see the reflection maybe of the camera through my glasses.
That's the first time you wear the glasses, right?
First time.
I think that's it for this week's Just Yappin', guys.
Yeah, my weekend sucked.
How was your weekend?
Sucked. Half the family was pukey, then I got sick. Watched Mania by myself night 1, night 2. Buddies came over, watched it. Watched okay ending to Mania. I had FOMO. I was telling you.
Yeah, you did.
I'm like, shit, I should have been there. Didn't care too much about being at Mania, but just, I wanted to see you in action, right?
Yeah, you've never seen. I was saying that. That's the thing.
We haven't traveled. We haven't traveled together. Like we've.
This is my first Mania with Daniel too. I never went to the one he went to. He never went to the one I went to. So I was like.
But next year, hopefully we'll be at the Super Bowl.
We got to meet the guy that voice. I know this is only gonna pop a few people, but it's on my page. The guy that voices Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh.
He was there and.
Cool.
He did a Stone Cold Stunner to Alan Angels. It's on my page. And Daniel interviewed him. It's also on my page. Super dope dude. He's a wrestling fan, so check that out. Guys, check out all the stuff on my YouTube channel. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just watch this.
Subscribe
Watch
to
this Yappin'.
channel.
Yeah.
Or this page. Or what's it called?
I don't
blog?
know. This
podcast?
watch this episode. Watch Just Yappin'.
Just watch this episode.
And
sponsor us. Somebody. Watch
keep doing the thing. I think we're done. I think that's it for this week. He's got a boob cup. Is that boobs? Boobs.
Different type of boobs.
Do your boobs hang low? Do they wobble too? Okay, that's it.